Good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, on the final stretch of this very important event, I just wanted to give you a legal take on certain things. By the way, I learned quite a lot that will contribute to my research from other fields, especially the contributions by psychologists, teachers, educators. So my presentation will be just a summary, because things that I planned to broach during this presentation had been said already beforehand. May I just start by offering you a more interactive introduction into my presentation. I'm counting on interaction with you. I want to ask you the following open-ended question. Can you right now think about a place in the public space where we or our children, let me use that term, where we or our children are not exposed to any advertising at all? A woods, forest. As long as they don't have a smartphone on them in that forest. Indeed. The smartphone would be then connected to the nearest BTS base station. So, forest would be one thing. So it's a good sign. We still have a refuge in a forest that is still free of commerce and marketing. The second question, since we are right after holidays, have you recently consciously switched off your internet access on your smartphones, on your tablets and computers? And if you asked your children to do that, and did they comply consciously? Silence. How should I interpret that silence? No such option, says someone. Okay, church. Okay, very well. So the forest and a church. Okay, holidays abroad because of roaming charges. So that's again a brilliant idea. All right. How did you feel about it when you indeed switched off the signal? How about your children? You felt great. The children, well, depending on the age. We are not going to talk teenagers here, of course. And two final questions. Please think for a second. How old, how many years must a child have? How old should a child be in order to use YouTube, according to the policy of the company? 13, indeed. We are talking about right now, because what happens in the future we will see, and what the new standards will be. How about Facebook? What is the age barrier for Facebook? 13 too. Okay. Did your children created the accounts all by themselves, or did you help them in doing that? Well, together with the parents. Okay, so we have co-responsibility for all that evil and for all that good that comes out of disclosing various personal data in the World Wide Web. All right. So please consider that in the future too. Well, my task was for this presentation to tell you about setting new trends in the post-advertising age. Why don't we focus on the aspect of the legal protection of children as consumers? In fact, there are many markets offering various media services. We have suppliers, vendors of various nice internet applications or other services which the children could use on the internet. And they indeed treat the children as consumers. Following the surveys, the age in which the child could consciously take purchasing decision is about 8 or 9 years, quite early. Children like to feel important. They want to feel they aspire to the world of adults by, for example, taking active purchasing decisions. An active role of children with those in respect to those decisions, especially when buying a gadget or a piece of equipment or a device, has been growing. That's what we hear from our acquaintances too. Now, let's consider what we have at hand, what is available to us in the in the legal sphere, in the legal realm. Worldwide, including Poland, we have regulations in place which need to be adhered to with respect to products for children, especially and it's especially in that area where these regulations are quite stringent, like safety of toys or food and beverages. So in this area, the legal restrictions are quite clear. Now, as far as advertising is concerned, we have bans on advertising alcohol or tobacco products addressing children or targeting children. So you must not advertise the cigarettes with let's say, cookie flavor or sweet flavor. We have electronic cigarettes, of course, but it's an alternative market and a separate topic meriting discussion. Now, as far as the impact is concerned on the physical, psychological, and moral development of children, we have, of course, regulations in place which help us qualify certain broadcasts, programs that are aimed at preventing negative impact from happening. We have also standards that define the type of marking of broadcasts according to the age bracket. So indeed, we can clearly say that we have legal instruments in place which come from the national regulator, and also what we have are the mechanism of self-control, so self-regulating mechanism, namely to the effect that the subjects themselves want to ensure a set of certain ethical rules to be implemented which elevate the level of safety and security with regard to advertising, thereby ensuring adherence to certain standards as to the way that advertisement target children. We also have sectoral regulations in place. For example, in Poland, the Pharmaceuticals Act defines quite clearly what is and what is not an advertisement of a pharmaceutical product. Quite recently, we have the National Pharmaceuticals Institute issuing an opinion on an injection. A commercial shows a child that dies because it had not been vaccinated. We have launched an investigation. The manufacturer of the vaccine tried to defend themselves that that was just a part of a campaign, but we failed to recognize it as a commercial spot. We decided otherwise. So in addition to hard law, or in terms of acts or regulations that govern the principles of targeting advertisements, commercials, including the Consumer Protection Act, we have also certain standards under that, but we fail so far a complex and comprehensive regulations that would govern all these questions in one act of parliament. So what we are left with is just a discussion about imposing self-regulatory mechanisms on the sector. Since the regulators themselves are interested, have a stake in regulating and defining certain standards, all that happens in a facultative fashion, and this is the point of criticism towards self-regulations of the marketing towards children. Even large corporations will not undermine their position.
And the standards not even particularly high. The standards that to a large extent restrict the possibilities for advertising different services, products, or a brand, particular brand. So what is left? We have a code of good practice for protection of minors in media services, where we have certain principles, ethical standards for Poland or for VOD providers, where they undertake to observe certain standards, ethical or moral standard. And this results straightly from the European law. And of course, we could quote a directive for unfair trade practices or services on demand. Later, there's been implemented, among others, to the Polish law on broadcasting services. So they have to function within a legal regime, within a legal infrastructure. And definitely what should be in mind of people directing their adverts to children is responsibility. How can we be responsible in today's world dominated by various gadgets and the openness and accessibility of the internet network? I will be supporting myself with a number of intellectuals and writers. You see, so we live here and now, and today we could say, I tweet, so I am. But this reflects the spiritual condition of mainly young people who can't imagine how they could operate without any technological tools which facilitate communication or searching for information, exchanging information. We are not talking about the quality of information, as was mentioned by speakers before me, but how are we to understand this post-advertising epoch? This must be visually attractive, and the content, especially in the most recent broadcasts, between the advert and the content, so that advert is transposed over the content. This is a new phenomena, that the border is blurred between the marketeers and children. It's the children who advertise toys. If you haven't had a chance to see, you can see on YouTube a American boy, and he's advertising all right, you will see how the public reacts to this type of advert. So blurring this difference between a marketeer and a receiver, the recent American research was quite surprising, because it showed that among American teenagers, 8 out of 10 said that if they were to trust adverts, they would rather believe a known character from YouTube than a movie star. So the entire advertising industry is analyzing the social phenomena accompanying the development of technology. So we may say that for the youth it is not that important that we create a image by experts, authority. This should be a person similar to the teenagers, fair, open. That's how people see themselves, cool. And also, the effectiveness or the attention, as the speaker before me said, this attention is shaped by the activities of bloggers or people who operate on Instagram. So this is new, and this is already noticed by the advertising industry. And the popularity of Instagram or chat is growing. And we again could ask ourselves the question, 25% of kids in America resigned from Facebook and moved to Instagram or Snapchat. And definitely the benefit of these services is that children may share funny moments and that the communication is immediate, not a moment later. So it is important for the message to get the receiver within seconds. And it is characteristic also of the users of the Internet themselves, because we know that more than 80% of young people use Internet. This also encourages advertising agencies to get to the mobile devices, and also the message must be reformulated, at least because of the size of the screen. And very briefly about type of adverts, especially on the Internet, we've been mentioning cookies, files, which definitely analyze the searching history, and they are able to display personalized messages. advertising banners and video adverts. These video adverts, well, we of course can switch the video off after 30 seconds of emission, which is a kind of safeguard. But the greatest hit in the development of the advertising videos is directing adverts to children using games. That's an interactive measure, so locating product or brand, and if you compare that to a traditional message, this is a very attractive form. So if you allow, I will show you an example. This is an example of an advert game. Maybe I will ask you now why have I shown this advert here? In your opinion, what two words are the best recognized words wherever we go on the globe? There is always a chance that people would understand the two words. Sex searching, no. Google, no, not yet. No. Okay. Well, the okay would be the first word that would be understood wherever you wish, and the second, Coca-Cola. So we know how long they've been present. They really are masters in creating adverts. You know how tasty they are. And may I ask you, yes, I wanted to show you how this game is played. I'm not a great fan of games, although yesterday the gaming session was kind of an encouragement for me.
Się nazywa, tak? To już jest no dobrze, no w każdym razie chodzi tylko, żeby troszeczkę przesunąć. W ogóle, aha, jest. Także proszę zobaczyć, no dobrze, już ile razy się pojawił image, no i co ten kołki robi, tak? Akurat to jest taka dla dzieci, tak, gra, ale mniej więcej na tym polega ten advert game po angielsku. O, sorry. Dobrze, Państwo wiedzą mniej więcej, co chciałam powiedzieć, nawet jeżeli nie było słychać, tak, że na czym polega właśnie to lokowanie produktów w grze, tak, i powiedzmy rzeczywiście pozwalające na takie interaktywne, a poza tym skupienie uwagi dziecka znacznie dłużej niż na 30 sekund, tak, kiedy mówiłam o tym tradycyjnym przekazie. Co więcej, proszę Państwa, mamy jeszcze wirusowe strategie tak zwane, które bardzo są też często i chętnie wykorzystywane przez reklamodawców, czyli właśnie dzielenie się komunikatami reklamowymi w sieciach społecznościowych, tak? Już nie będę wymieniać tej nazwy, bo to już robimy już taką reklamę dla tego Facebooka, tak, ale przecież przed Facebookiem były inne, tak, no więc jakieś się też tworzą naturalne monopole, myślę, że ekonomiści mieliby tutaj rzeczywiście bardzo dużo do powiedzenia, no tak samo Google, tak na marginesie. To jest wyszukiwarka komercyjna, tak, ale przecież mamy też inne, które no, w znacznie mniejszym stopniu, czy wręcz twórcy tych wyszukiwarek mówią, że nie śledzą, tak, nie analizują, nie profilują użytkownika. DuckDuckGo to jest taka wyszukiwarka. Proszę sobie zobaczyć, proszę poszukać właśnie informacji, jak możemy też za pomocą innych wyszukiwarek szukać różnych informacji i niekoniecznie korzystać wyłącznie z Google, prawda? Więc proszę Państwa, te wirusowe strategie bardzo właśnie są efektywne poprzez aplikacje typu widget, tak, które mogą wzbudzać świadomość o produkcie bądź marce wśród adresatów. Więc mówiąc szczerze, czy tak naprawdę jesteśmy się w stanie bronić? Szczególnie dziecięcym.
Can we ensure the space?
Proszę Państwa, teraz króciutko chciałam powiedzieć to, co już powiedziałam, że ta krytyka samoregulacji, szczególnie jeżeli chodzi o przemysł reklamowy, tak, nie do końca zgadzamy się z tymi, szczególnie właśnie przez Komisję Europejską, twierdzeniami, że to jest dobra metoda.
The European Commission, and I don't know whether the children marketing is all right, and frequently the advertising campaign in particular directed to children do not take into consideration the official campaigns which promote healthy lifestyle. And we may say it's just a joke, like if the largest groups like Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper or other global brands said that they, in their products, if we concentrate just on beverages, and they would decrease calories by 1/5 in next 10 years. 1/5. What does that mean? If children like crackers, and if the producer announces that his product contains less sugar, this means, if you examine it closely and listen to the experts, that the previous edition had 14 edition had 14 gram sugar per 27, and now it's 10 gram of sugar per the same amount of flakes. So if this product is a bit healthier, it still doesn't mean that it is healthy at all. And what else we could say? Definitely the mechanisms of effective supervision or observing the principles are insufficient. They are insufficient because child protection in advertising messages must use higher standards in case of children than they cannot be left just to the advertising industry, and we definitely may say that the codes of practice so I am not one-sided here, promoting only one type of solutions at the level of regulations directly binding in member states. We should be particularly restrictive. So, all right, this is a effective way of protection, but in case of children, marketing must be protected using special measures.
Proszę Państwa, niewątpliwie dostępność.
And accessibility, attention, attractiveness, this is the guarantee for sales. And what is the essence of children marketing? That we have to find out and use special features of child's emotions. So what are the feelings when exposed to advertising? This is nothing new. We know that for years. But the use of the internet plus the extremely attractive form of games and the presence of a brand in a game poses particular threats for being neutral towards certain products, especially foodstuff, let's call it this way. So children are more and more interested in the offer of mobile applications, and then we should ask another question. If we, as consumer, if we apply for a new account on Facebook, and if we make our phone available to the application, if we were informed why the application needs that it will use our pictures and our addresses. So if we knew that in the beginning, that the security policies concerning privacy, concerning data protection were given fairly, not on 20 pages. When we went through the Facebook privacy policy, it's more than 20 pages. Nobody would read that carefully. So we have to be aware that if we have it given clearly and concisely, we would not be that willing to provide that much information about ourselves on the net. And the final remark. Should we be calmed down with the information? What about our data that we make available to Google today? And in 10 years, they may be sold to another corporation. Because, well, they may go bankrupt. What happens to our information that they have been collecting, giving us access to another level of a game, or for giving us access to others? And I will finish with a beautiful statement from a wonderful book, Balthasar. It should be enough for people if we mention part of the name, because in order to learn who he really is, we need the entire life. Because being now is different from being before and being after, but the customs are different. So they ask who your parents were, where have you been born, and how old are are you? And they seem to know more or everything. I hope that not. So thank you very much for your attention and for the invitation from the organizers. Thank you.